Texting. We are back. Segment 2 on a Slug 'em Down Saturday. It has cooled off a little bit. It's actually pretty good right now. Got a little breeze coming in. Rain actually did cool something. It was sweltering earlier today. My my son out there playing catch out here in the heat. It lasted about 40 minutes. It was just too hot. But it's nice and cool now. It's not too bad. So anyway, welcome back to the sack. That is the redoubtable one. Thomas J. Izzo was licking his wounds after the Mets blew one tonight. The highly questionable Roger Miliaccio, whose Red Sox also blew one with a 3-0 lead, and they blew it. So we're both a little down the dumps on our baseball teams tonight, but they're still both very much alive. Switching gears, segment 2, training camp. Drake Maye, who looked like a lost puppy dog just, on 72 hours ago when we last spoke to you, must have seen this show because on Thursday and Friday,
was he that third viewer?
Maybe he was. Well, we're up to 7 now. 8 on that one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Might have been the third one. Maybe he watched it twice.
It was him in the offensive line.
Maybe. But over the last couple days, he's gone like 18 for 24, like 4 touchdowns, no picks. He's been good in the red zone. Now, the receiving core that I did say gave us a glimmer of hope has also looked very good. And Pop Douglas has been out. So it's not him, it's the rookies. Now it'd be Baker and the kid who they drafted first, Polk, who's the one out of Washington. So they've both looked good. Tyquan Thornton continues to impress, knock on wood. The tight end, Henry, everybody knows Henry's a good player, so he's done well too. So, but the thing is, Drake Maye rather, has picked up his game significantly in the past 72 hours. And that's a good sign. Again, it's early. It's the second week of camp. I'm not, but it's better than what I saw 3 days ago when he looked like maybe he should have stayed in school. So it's encouraging. He was much better, at least from the videos that I saw. He didn't have the happy feet in the pocket. He was going through his reads a little bit quicker. And he's doing less scrambling, so he was hanging in the pocket and letting the play develop. The receivers were getting open and making good catches, and so it was both ends that looked much better. And that's good to see. A little refreshing, given it was pretty bleak there for about 10 days. So that's encouraging. Again, he's young. He's 21 years old. This is going to happen. But it was nice to see at least he looked like a little calmer, like he's settling in. That was encouraging to see. It was.
Maybe he's understanding the offense.
Well, this is the other thing. You're 100% right about that. Now, he's going to have the more he does it, the better the grasp he's going to get on the offense. And that will he'll improve right there.
Yeah.
Because, yes, it's a new offense. He's learning it.
Where was he? Was he at UNC?
UNC. Tom's 100% right about that. That doesn't, especially with a rookie quarterback, that's the first time he's in the playbook.
And it's not like he was on Alabama or LSU.
No, he wasn't.
Now, I mean, I don't know what offense UNC runs, but they don't. I don't think every college has absolutely pro-style offense the way some of them do.
Well, they do.
They do.
Yeah, I saw probably five of their games last year. And by the way, he lost his number one receiver to injury before the season started. So he hung in there. They changed some coaches. I think they changed his coordinator too. So he handled a lot of adversity very well last year. And was among the leaders in touchdown passes and yards in the country. He was.
And then he walks into an organization who has notoriously treated quarterbacks like dog shit.
Including the GOAT.
That's really why they get their rap. Because of their treatment of Brady over the last 10 years.
Of all the people that treat like shit, the GOAT. But that's Bill Belichick, which is why he doesn't have a job right now. And I'm kind of torn on this. And Troy Aikman, when we were off the air, we were watching, because I saw this the other day, and I wanted to listen to it again, because Troy Aikman's spot on here. Pat McAfee is like, he is to Bill Belichick what Dwayne Wade is to LeBron James right now. Like, literally, he's going down on him. And he shouldn't. That 24-year-old is right there, and she's a smoke show. But anyway, I digress. The point is this.
Hold on. Who is Bill Belichick to?
McAfee is to Belichick what Dwayne Wade is to LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah. Just fondling the goat's testicles.
Is this a rusty trombone we're talking?
I don't know, but it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. I mean, it's like, look, we get it. Back off. It's getting when you hear them both talk about these guys, you think something else is going on. So it's like, all right, this is a little too much of a bromance for me.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's uncomfortable. No, it's too much. There's a line, and they've both crossed it. So anyway, they're in the uncomfortable zone now. But anyway, Troy Aikman said something that was he's right. He goes, look, he didn't get a job this year. He's only going to be a year older, and one of the knocks on him was he was old. So what he didn't say, he was trying to say it without saying it, but look, he was 72, now he's 73. And that's before you get into the fact that who's going to give him total power when they just watched him destroy the greatest dynasty in the history of the league? And it started with him kicking out the greatest quarterback ever who wasn't done.
Well, it's
So
going to have to be a delusional GM and owner.
It's going to have to be Jerry Jones, a desperate GM owner, which after the Cowboys flounder again
Desperate
this year,
usually means delusional.
yeah, they are close. Desperate and delusional usually. Yeah.
Desperation
Usually
creates delusion.
Delusionalism. Yeah, it does.
Delusionalism.
Is that a word?
Delusionalism, either way.
Either way,
it's going to have to be
I think
somebody like that.
Somebody has to be like, I'm about to lose my I have to do something drastic.
I'm trying to think who.
The D word, drastic.
Drastic, desperate, delusional.
Yeah.
Donkey.
Donkey. But trust me, because again,
Dunce.
Aikman said it. Everyone thinks he's still trailing Don Shula by 15 wins. And so
I'm trying to think of who could be desperate after this season.
part of me,
Let's think about it.
who could be?
If their season doesn't go right,
The Jets.
the Jets,
If they flop,
the Jags,
yeah.
right? If
Buffalo Bills.
Bills,
What if they
Giants,
achieve again? The Giants.
the Giants who
The
have,
Giants, I could see.
well, it's New York. I mean, he was there.
He was there. He won 2 Super Bowls there.
I'm sure it's a place he would go.
I could see that.
Who else?
If
Who
the
else is
Giants
in one of
fall.
those make or break? Like, don't really know where they're going.
Probably Dallas.
I guess.
If they don't win it this year, Mike McCarthy's out. I'll tell you right now, he's not. They don't win it this year, he ain't coming back.
I don't know, dude. Remember how long Jason Garrett stuck around? Jason Garrett, it felt like, was there.
Jerry Jones is not getting any younger. That's the difference. That was 15 years ago.
Which means he's not changing. He's doing the same
No,
bullshit.
he's getting desperate. He wants a Super Bowl before he dies. And at some point, the writing is on the wall. If McCarthy doesn't break through this year, the writing is on the wall.
Maybe.
We've already said this. We both agreed. That team should have won a Super Bowl by now. In the past
15 years,
they should have won.
No
one.
doubt.
They've had enough talent.
They could have won with Romo.
Yep.
They were good enough.
They've had enough talent.
They've been good enough with Dak.
They've never had the coach. And that's because any real coach wants nothing to do with this guy. So Jerry Jones is his own worst nightmare. Jason Garrett. How the fuck did that loser last that long on the Cowboy side?
Oh man, but to make it worse,
How?
after a decade of mediocrity with above average talent,
More than above average. I'd say they've had a top 10
then the
roster.
Giants go, you know what? I want him to be our offensive coordinator. What a fuckface of a move that was.
The Eagles hired Matt Patricia. What the fuck for?
God damn, there's some
dumbass.
When we talked about last year how much bad coaching, how much bad GMing, it will really blow your mind when you think about the fact that these entities are worth multiple billions of dollars. But here's the secret. It doesn't matter how bad they fuck it up, they still are worth that much. And that's why
football is America's passion.
right, and that's why they're able to just keep putting their buddies in positions, and you know what I mean? It's like retreads.
It's hard to win a Super Bowl. It's hard. The one and done scenario, you play the championship. It's the only sport where you play the championship, pro sport, on a neutral site. All the others play home games in the finals, in the World Series and stuff like that.
It's also the only sport where it's one
and done.
Yeah.
So if you have one bad night, you don't get a chance to come back and fix it. That's why it's harder than baseball. If baseball was a one and done, it'd be the hardest one to win. But it's not. It's 4 out of 7. That's why it's not. Because you have 4 chances to get that right. Whereas football, you do not. So it's the ultimate pressure cooker. So it's hard to win a Super Bowl. And so I think that's part of the reason fans tolerate this is because they know it's hard to win. There are 15 franchises that have never won a Super Bowl.
Fans tolerate it.
They
It's
love
because
it.
the game's great.
Yeah, but it's also hard to win.
Yeah.
There are 15 franchises that haven't won a Super Bowl or a championship. That's a lot.
A lot of
For a
bad
sport that's been
moves,
around.
A lot of bad
Yeah.
moves being made.
Yeah. There have been some bad dynasties. Like usually when you think of dynasty, you think of excellence. There have been NFL probably has more bad dynasties.
What'd you call it? A diarrhea dynasty.
The Tampa Bay Bucks were a dynasty. The Patriots were.
Who are we calling a dynasty?
The Patriots
of
were.
diarrhea?
The Bucks were. I know they both won champ. They're not anymore, but they were. I'd say right now.
The Jets have been a diarrhea dynasty.
Since
50 years.
Yeah, they've been a diarrhea. Buffalo's never won. They had that one stint in the '90s with Kelly and Thurman Thomas for like 10. They were good, but they never won anything.
But 4 in a row.
They lost 4.
Oh, that's torture.
If they had won one of them,
That is torture.
That's awful.
Yeah, I mean they've been a diarrhea dynasty.
Diarrhea dynasty.
I mean,
the Dolphins have been for a
Yeah.
very long since Marino. And Marino didn't win the Super Bowl. They haven't won a Super Bowl since '72.
yeah.
So there's a couple that are,
the Giants have been a bit of a diarrhea dynasty for the past 10 years.
but they've got one in this century. They got 2 in this century.
Yeah.
Those franchises we're talking about don't. They don't. So the Chargers have never won. And by the way, how that coach? Remember that idiot?
Staley.
Yeah. Thank God he's finally out of a job.
We'll see how Harbaugh does down there.
He'll do well.
Dude, but I finally got to watch the last off-season Hard Knocks of the Giants.
Oh, do tell.
And, okay, so here's the thing. I remember when I watched the first couple and I was telling you, like, they don't seem that smart. They don't seem that in tune. It just kind of seems like, oh, would you like this weapon? Do you want this guy? Like, it just seemed kind of like, what are you guys fucking doing? You know?
It's not that complicated.
But as it got closer to the draft, you saw the detail.
Yeah.
The attention to detail. Like, they basically have every scenario laid out. They're like, look, if this guy goes 1, we know these 2 guys are going to go 2, 3. We know this guy's going to go 5. And then, boom, this is what we do. Now, if this happens, and they would, they had all the, they would move the pieces around.
Yeah.
And, like, everything they thought could happen, happened. And I also, but again, the Giants got final say-so on everything that was showed to us. So they can make it look like they got everything they wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, they knew what was, like, they can make all this look real. Because every guy they picked, they had major conversations about prior to the draft.
Yeah.
Which I would assume that doesn't happen a lot. Because the guy you want goes.
Yeah.
But like they were like, look, we need a wide receiver, we need a safety, we lost McKinney, our other position of need is corner, like, and they just chipped away at every spot they needed. And it was like, okay, you might have got the best receiver in the draft. They took the first safety in the draft. They might have got the best safety in the draft.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, that sounds good. They get a 6'6", 240 tight end from Penn State.
I'm telling you.
Darren Waller retired. They got him in like the 4th round.
Yeah, those guys usually can play.
And
Usually they can.
And then you think about what they did in the offseason. Okay, they didn't get a lot of pass rush, so they traded for Brian Burns, who is they say is an elite pass rusher. He's been in Carolina, so nobody really has watched him. Because
there's another one.
Because the Panthers
Diarrhea
dynasty. Although when they had Cam, they went.
I know, but it was like a flutter.
Okay, then in addition to that, they signed 3 offensive linemen in the offseason. So this is actually probably going to be the best O-line that Danny Dimes has had. He's got supposedly the best or the second best wide receiver in the draft.
I'd say second best.
And
legitimately, he's the second best.
So if he can't make it work this year, and if this team falls apart, I think you got to clear it all out.
Oh, yeah. This is make or break for Danny Dimes. Because now he's got a
But
one.
I think it might be make or break for Dable, too.
Of course it is.
And the GM.
Of course it is. Because they don't get this right. Look, that division, Philly has taken a step back. Philly lost Jason Kelsey off their offensive line. I mean, Dallas can't get out of their own
Philly's
way. The Commanders are they're a mess. I mean, the Giants could actually make a move this year if this stuff pans out.
But if you look at the talent, I mean, look, Philly.
The talent. Dallas had the talent forever. They won a goddamn thing.
Right, but
that ain't enough.
They win regular season games.
The Giants were in the playoffs just 2 years ago. They had a slew of injuries last year, which derailed them. Okay, that was the biggest thing that last year was their injuries. They went out, it looks like, on paper, to his point, it's on paper.
They've improved.
But it looks like they've improved.
Even though they lost Saquon.
Yeah. So, other than that, losing him, they've improved as a roster. So, it stands to reason if Dime stays healthy and Brian Daboll discovers his offensive prowess again, they're going to have a shot at a wild card. Because I don't think this division's going to be that strong.
Yeah.
I got news for you. Dallas is going to fold. There's the pressure of that. You want to talk about people never. I don't think they bring this up enough. The pressure that Jerry Jones puts on his own players.
Well, you bring it up every time we talk about him.
Well, look at what's happened. I'm not making it up. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 29 fucking years. So is it me or is it the donkey out there down there in his world there, who has to have all the press, all of this, goes on a talk show after he talks to the media in front of the stadium because that's not enough. It's like, what the fuck? It's Jerry's team. It's all about Jerry.
Jerry's world, baby.
It's Jerry's world. And they haven't won dick because of it. And he will never, ever take responsibility for this.
And it's so crazy because we've talked about it, obviously. They draft well.
They do.
They make moves in the offseason. Like, they bring in talent. They bring in pieces.
I would argue.
Their trenches are always good.
I would argue over the last 10 years, they're probably, I mean, maybe they're one of maybe three or four top three. Well, they've been
like personnel teams.
I'm saying they've had a top 10 roster for a decade.
Yeah,
for a decade, and they might be the only team that can say that. For 10
maybe
years,
maybe more than that.
Maybe more. I'm saying at least 10 years.
Because
they've had a top 10.
Basically, the whole time Dak was there.
Yeah, a lot of times they're in the top five.
While Romo was there, they had really good teams too.
Yes, I'm saying they have not lost because of lack of talent. No. Okay.
But I don't know if it's also not lack of GMing.
No, it's they get incompetent coaches because real ones don't want to work for this asshole, and this asshole doesn't seem to get that. Because he still does things that most head coaches don't want to put up with. And he had Parcells, and Parcells walked away after 2 years. He didn't want to deal with him anymore. And he got him in the playoffs. They botched that snap against the That was Romo's biggest blunder.
That was Parcells?
That was Parcells.
Wow.
And he said, I'm not putting up with this nut job anymore. He walked. And if Bill Parcells walks away from you, you got a problem.
No, well, I mean, he's known to walk away.
Well, he walked away from the Patriots, and we got Pete Carroll.
Walked away from the Giants too, didn't he?
Yeah, but he won 2 Super Bowls there.
That's true.
Before he walked away, the Patriots didn't finish the job, and he regretted it. To this, when he saw them win 6 without him, and Bledsoe.
Of course, he regretted it.
Yeah, maybe I should have done things differently. Too late.
Maybe I shouldn't have cried about the groceries so much.
Yeah, because
even though you let Bill Belichick do it for 20 years.
When you have Tom Brady, you can
really it was all about that one lucky pick.
That Dick Rabine made, not Bill
That
Belichick.
one lucky pick.
And by the way, that team, Bill Belichick inherited that defense. He didn't draft Ty Law. Parcells got all those guys.
He usually hits on defensive guys.
Yeah, he drafted Richard Seymour, Hall of Famer. He drafted Vince Wilfork, Hall
Mayo.
of Famer. I mean, yeah, but those
Gerard
were
Mayo.
Hightower, the other one. Hightower had the strip sack against Atlanta.
Did you draft Malcolm Butler? Or is that a guy you guys picked up?
We drafted him. So, defense, he didn't miss. He had Tom Brady, so he didn't have to focus on offense. And then he took him for granted. So, the point is, the Giants, there are teams, but you're backing up to the Belichick, will he get a job? The Giants, if they flounder, they're on the radar.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't. I think the Giants have, if this talent pans out and they stay reasonably healthy, they're going to surprise some people.
Dave's lost a lot of weight.
Dabo? Really?
He looks a different person.
Does he look slender? Or
Yeah.
does he look stocky?
No, he looks small.
Slender. Damn.
I mean, I don't know about slender, but compared to what he was, he looks small. He had to have lost 60, 70 pounds.
At some point, and you're over 50, you have that talk with your doctor.
And they give you some drugs.
They say you are losing the weight now.
You need to
or
get on
else.
Ozempic.
Yep, you need to stop eating X, Y, and Z, or else.
Maybe I should go see a doctor.
So you're 40. You're not 50 yet. I'm not saying wait that long.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm 50 because of how much I weigh.
So, but the thing is, the Giants I think are going to be improved, and I think that kid. Tell you what,
Neighbors.
Yeah, he's got the tools. He reminds me so much of Jamar Chase.
So
he
so
really
at this
does.
point, it comes back to Dimes. He's got to step the fuck up. He can't be this deer in the headlights.
He's never had a guy
fumbling.
like this before.
I understand, but now he's got him. So
all right,
I don't want to see this because they keep showing highlights of training camp. Where the D linemen are beating his offensive lineman and he's not feeling it. Like, they're not hitting him, obviously, because you're not allowed to hit him.
Can't hit the red jersey.
Right.
Can't hit the red jersey.
But if it was a game, he'd be blindsided. And he's not feeling it at all. So that's not good. Because that was a problem for him his rookie year.
Yeah.
When he had, I don't know how many fumbles. I think he had over 10 fumbles.
Again, this is where, I'm not excusing this, but this is where once you start to take a pounding like that and you're losing on top of it and you're getting injured, you start getting gun shy at some point.
But if you're gun shy, you should feel the rush, right? That's all you should be looking at. To me, he's never been a gun shy kid.
Well, usually he'll run.
He's always been a...
Yeah. He'll run to it.
No, he'll go like this.
He won't run from it. He'll run to it.
He'll go, huh? Oh, I must have more time. Boom! Just obliterated or strip sacked. That's what Daniel Jones has been. I respect him. He's tough as fucking nails.
He's been behind arguably the worst line in football for 4 years.
But
I think you can make that case.
It's the awareness. It's feeling the rush from the places you're not specifically looking at.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one thing he struggled with. So
yeah, he has. But again, this is the product of your environment. This is what happened to Mac Jones. But Mac Jones never had a guy like this Neighbors guy either. So
he had the Baylor Burner.
Baylor Burner's never stayed on the field.
He had Pop Douglas.
He was hurt last year. Actually, Belichick benched him because he made one fumble in week 1. For like 6 weeks, he put him in the doghouse. Another reason why you're unemployed, Bill.
God damn!
Another reason why you're unemployed, Bill. I mean, look, this is where I am torn with him because these jobs could open up. Make no mistake. And there's going to be, listen, every year at least 3 or 4 coaches get fired in the NFL. So there's going to be at least 3 or 4 positions next spring. They're going to be open.
Yeah.
But the thing is, are these owners going to, how much power is Bill Belichick going to want, and how much are they going to be willing to give him? And given how he destroyed the Patriots, and he's going to be 73, I don't know, to Troy Aikman's point, I don't know how many owners it would have to take a desperate one, like Jerry Jones. Mm-hmm. I could so see him in Dallas. Because I know Dallas is going to fold. I know Dallas. Barring every team that's in front of them getting incredibly injured, Dallas is not going to go to the Super Bowl this year.
But, okay, so
they're not.
Do you think Jerry would take a backseat to Bill? Or would Bill be willing to take a backseat to Jerry?
This is the ultimate. See, this is the thing.
Because one of those things would have to happen.
That's the question.
One of those things would have to happen.
I'm glad you brought this up. That's the $50 million question. One of these giant egos has got to be willing to bend, and who's going to do it?
Who would do it?
Who's going to blink? But here's the thing. They're both desperate. Belichick has...
So would they both bend?
This is the thing. Belichick is going to get one more shot at Shula's record. So let's be clear. If he can go to a contender, he will, and the Cowboys are close. So could I see Bill...
2 years, you get 15 wins. Easy.
Could I see Bill bending a little bit here? Yeah. But Jerry's going to be, 88? Could I see Jerry... If they flounder again, could I see Jerry bending? I mean, at some point, desperate.
Deathbed.
It's a desperate.
Desperate deathbed.
This is the thing. Which of these teams is going to flounder this year, and what's the repercussions of that? And then, depending on who it is the owner desperate? Because that's what I think it's going to take for Bill Belichick to get another job in the NFL. An owner's going to have to be desperate. And again, there's prime candidates out there. There's more than one, so this is not far-fetched, okay? I'm just saying. It's going to be very interesting. Anyway, look, the Patriots, at least from the skill position perspective, these rookies look good. The quarterback looked like a quarterback the last couple of days. That's encouraging. Jacoby Brissett's looked good all camp, and he's slated as the starter right now, so that's encouraging. But just like the Giants, the Patriots' offensive line.
Did you all improve it? Because we put money into ours.
We drafted.
We got John Runyon's kid.
We drafted, but again, I don't know. See, I didn't go back and look at where the players they drafted were rated in their respective by their positions. Yeah. So I don't know how good these linemen were rated coming out of college. I mean, they drafted, I think, 3 of them. I think. At least 2, but I think it was 3. So they let go of what's his name.
I mean, if you have 3 draft picks on your offensive line, it's going to be a long season.
I don't think all 3 are going to start.
Okay.
I think maybe
hopefully injuries don't
one. I
force
think
that.
will. 2 is a maybe.
Because O-line's a tough position to
course it is.
transition into.
Yes, but the Patriots when they were winning, they were the best coach. Dante Scarnecchia never gets enough mention as one of the great. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Is he still there now?
No, he's an advisor. He's basically retired now, but he is the best offensive line coach I've ever seen or heard of.
Is he on the payroll now just to go, I wouldn't have done that?
I don't know, maybe, but
Where do we get this guy?
He was a Hall of Fame coach. He really was. Because he took a lot of average talent and made them elite for a lot of years. Now, it helps when your quarterback gets the ball out in 2 seconds, because Tom Brady has the fastest release time in NFL history from the snap. So you couldn't get to him anyway. So that helps. But they also ran the ball well for the most part. And a lot of these guys, their best offensive lineman draft pick was Logan Mankins. It was the best one that they picked in the Bill Belichick era.
What about Nate Solder? He was a good lineman for y'all.
He was.
And then he came and robbed the Giants of $100 million.
He was above average at his best. Most of the time he was average. But he had a couple of years where he was above average.
You guys had some really good lines.
He was, yeah, because of Scarnecchia. So he never gets enough credit for what he did for the Patriots in that run. But anyway, this line now, it's scary.
Turnstile.
It's scary. Andrews, the center, is the only legit one that I know of. So we'll see what these draft picks and veterans they brought in do, but they've got to fix that first, and nothing else matters. They just do. And until they do, I would not put Drake Maye behind it. I wouldn't put Drake Maye behind it until I know it's fixed.
You'll ruin a kid.
You'll ruin the kid, just like you ruined Mac Jones. You'll ruin him. So that's going to be how fast does this line come together if it does at all. If it comes together pretty quick, they might have something.
Yeah.
But I don't know where these guys are they brought in are rated by their competition. I don't know that yet. So I haven't heard yet. Here's the thing. That's the one thing, the entire camp, I haven't heard a good thing about.
The O-line?
The O-line, they have not one reporter, not one analyst, nobody has had a good thing to say about that offensive line the entire camp.
Is
and
that
they're the only
safety
unit.
or cornerback?
Who?
The corner that got hurt last year, was it Gonzalez?
Gonzalez.
Is he
Who
back?
was? Yep.
He is.
He's back. Matthew Judon played kissy face with Mayo and is back in practice, and it's all they're all saying.
Really?
They're all saying kumbaya now.
Did they tongued and made up?
Yeah, they did. They tongued.
They tongued.
They did.
Oh wow!
They might have snowballed.
Phillies just walked in a run to lose the game in Seattle.
In Seattle. So this is the biggest question, I think, really. Well, not with both teams, because I think the Giants' line, at least on paper,
We have
should be
different
better.
questions.
Yeah, we have different questions. Our line is the biggest question. How fast, if at all, do they gel? Because that's going to determine the whole season. Their defense will be good enough with those two. Assuming Judon is here and Gonzalez, and they're both healthy, they were top. They were 7th without them. That defense will be elite. They will be in games. Last year, thanks to the former coach, GM, they lost 8 games by less than a touchdown. If they had any of these weapons I've been bitching about for the past 4 years, they win all of those games.
Yeah.
So they could have easily scored 2 touchdowns. They needed just less than 1 a game. They would have, in the 8 games that they lost, 8 of the games, they lost a total of 13 games. 8 of the 13 were by less than a touchdown. So if they had any discernible weapons besides Pop Douglas and Ramadi Stevenson, they would have won those games. So this is the thing. The defense will keep them in it. Can they score 21 points? If they can score 21 points this year, and that defense stays healthy, they'll have a shot at the playoffs.
They won't, then they're in trouble.
What?
Then they're in trouble.
It's a big if.
Because I don't know about that one.
It's a big if.
I don't think it's an if.
It's a big if. I'm not counting on
That's like an 18-point a game team.
No, they were 15, 14 last year.
Right, so right now they're probably an 18-point.
I don't think they're 18.
Maybe they're 13.
They're probably just as bad as last year. Because the line might even be worse than last year.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I don't know.
J.D. Martinez struck out on a 104-mile-an-hour fastball to end the game. What the fuck?
Who threw 104?
That's what Ben Joyce, whoever the
Wild
fuck that
thing
is.
of all on in the lineup.
God damn, 104.7?
That's fast.
Fastest pitch in the league this year. JD says, yeah, I'm going to be all over Instagram striking out tonight. That's funny.
It was 104 mile an hour fastball.
Well, it was 104.7, so technically it was 105.
Most human beings would have struck out if that was coming at them.
Most human beings wouldn't have even seen it. They wouldn't even swung. He put a decent swing on it.
Are you going to throw it? Oh, the catcher already
Right.
had it.
I would have been up there like this. Pow! Holy fuck!
Did you throw that?
Is it okay if I'm not in the box when you pitch? Because I don't want to get hit by
105 is no fucking joke.
Jesus Christ.
So, there's no shame in J.D. Martinez striking out on that pitch.
No.
But
No, J.D. Martinez hit the bomb to give him a 4-2 lead. I'm not mad at him.
he didn't lose the lead for him.
Our biggest question, Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, but he's got something he's never had. And if that kid stays healthy, and Brian Daboll's also got a lot to answer to.
Yeah, I agree.
Brian Daboll needs to get these two working together early and often. That should be priority 1 if I'm Brian Daboll. You've got the thing the Patriots don't have, the number 1.
Yep.
Okay, you need to. Those two should be breaking bread together every damn day. Every damn day.
Well, according to Daboll, he's impressed by the receiver room.
Okay.
A lot of talent. The young guys are showing leadership. The only vet, well, Slayton's a vet, but
Slayton's a vet.
The oldest one in the receiver room is they got Allen Robinson.
Oh yeah.
You know that guy?
Yeah, I do.
And apparently he's been helping neighbors in film sessions,
Good.
which is good.
That's good. Yeah. Nothing like a veteran receiver there who's been around the block a few times.
And Jalen Hyatt, I mean, he's a second-year guy, but I love his mentality. I don't know what he's going to be. I really hope he is something because
This is the kid from Tennessee?
yeah, he's got. I love his mentality.
I do. I love
when
that.
you see him in an interview, he says
He
the right
gets it.
things. Yeah, he does.
He gets it.
So, I've seen a couple clips of Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors, talking on the sidelines where he's saying, "Look, if he breaks inside, I'm gonna," and they're talking. So that's a good sign. I mean, I'm sure that's normal at every training camp, but
The QB and the number 1 have got to have a serious rapport. Because you've seen what happens when they don't. It blows up in the face. And it can destroy a team.
and when they do,
When they do, though,
it can go on a run.
look out. Look out. There's too many examples. So let's hope that's what the case.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because, again, if he knows him, he's going to trust him. If he trusts him, he's going to throw balls that he normally wouldn't throw, but that dude is that dude. Okay? I can tell you this from experience. Certain players have certain rules that don't apply to those alpha dogs because they're the alpha dog. Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady would throw the ball in places for Rob Gronkowski that he wouldn't dare throw it for any other receiver other than maybe Julian Edelman because he knew that just get it near him, he'll find a way, he'll come up with it. That was Gronk. And Julian was a smaller version of him. Okay? Anybody else, Tom Brady doesn't, No. So you gotta have that dude. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce is the reigning example of this. Whenever Patrick Mahomes gets in trouble, who is he looking for?
Mr. Kelsey.
And he's always open. Just like Gronk was always open for Brady, or Adam was always open for Brady where are those two dudes? So Danny Dimes has to get that rapport with this dude fast.
Yeah.
Because if he does, they can be something. They really can, because that kid is literally everything you want in a receiver. From a physical standpoint, he literally checks every box.
Let's see what the Giants' schedule is to start the year.
Los Stiflos de los Stiflos? Stiflos de la Losa? Losa de Stiflos?
What?
I don't know.
No, I'm talking about the New York Giants.
I know that. I was just being...
Because we can do the whole, you think they'll win?
I was just being stoned.
All right, Thursday, August 8th. This is preseason. All right, so they start September 8th with the Vikings.
Vikings in a
Winnable game.
Another potential diarrhea dynasty.
Winnable game.
Yeah.
Although J.J. McCarthy has looked good in training camp. He's got one pick, and that's it.
All right.
That's a game you got to win. It's at home.
Yeah.
Then you go on the road the following week to Washington. It's another winnable game. You've got to get that game.
Yeah.
Then it starts to get a little tougher. Then you go to Cleveland. You're probably going to lose to Cleveland. Then you go home for the Cowboys.
They have not beaten.
You're going to lose to the Cowboys.
They haven't beaten them in 8 years?
No. It's the same thing with the Eagles. I mean, they beat the Eagles last game of the year last year, but it doesn't really count.
No. The
Eagles sucked at the end of that.
The Eagles nosedived like you read about last
God.
year.
They didn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
No, that was the definition of nosedive.
So the Cowboys come into New York. So they've got to get those first two because they could easily drop the next two to the Browns and Cowboys, and then be 2-2 through 4.
That's not bad.
Then they go to Seattle.
That's winnable.
It's winnable, but the Giants rarely win in Seattle. Then they go home and the Bengals come in. You're going to lose that game.
Well, this is all about Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
If Joe Burrow's healthy, you lose. If he's not, you can win. So
then the Eagles come in. Then you go to the Steelers.
That's a tough schedule.
It's a tough first half.
Yeah.
Then you go Commanders, Panthers, Bucks. You have to have all three of those.
Yeah. Bucks will be the only. They were pretty good last year. They made the playoffs.
That's true.
Yeah, they're not going to be a pushover. The other two, they should roll the other two. They need to anyway.
But at home, I feel like they could beat the Bucks.
They can. I'm not saying they can't win the game. It's not going to be a pushover.
By November, we'll know if the Giants are decent or not.
Yeah.
You know,
the Bucks are beatable. They're just not a pushover. The other two are pushovers. They should wipe those two.
Yeah.
They need to wipe those two. So.
End the year with the Eagles again.
Yep. So, I mean,
we'll see what happens. They better win those first two games.
I don't know when in the preseason if Danny Dimes is going to take a rep when he is, but
I think he is.
And whenever he does, they need to get this kid out there right away.
And call 3 plays to him.
Call 3 plays to him. Just you got to get them going. Mm-hmm. The sooner, the better. Because to me, they could be one of the best duos in the league right out of the gate. The talent, I think, is.
I hope you're right.
They can be. It really depends on rapport is one thing, and it's good to see them talking on the sidelines. To your point, but I think those two got to get a ton of reps together in the preseason.
Well, especially if Neighbors is when the pocket breaks down, he's the type of guy that can
he'll break off his route, and
do stuff like that.
Yeah.
That could work
like Cheetah used to do for Mahomes,
exactly.
and Welker, or rather Edelman used to do for Brady.
Because
that guy.
Daniel is the type of guy that can move around.
Yes, he can buy time.
As long as he's aware.
And the thing is, unlike Patrick Mahomes, who's always had at least 2 of these guys, he's never had one where he's like, if I just buy some more time, he'll get open. Mm-hmm. He hasn't had a guy like that yet. Okay.
Or a guy where, he's not open, I'm throwing it anyway.
Anyway, well, this could be this Neighbors dude.
Yeah.
So to me, the key is their rapport building in preseason. Yeah. Because here's the thing, and I said this to him last year, I don't know if he remembers it, but when you've got a great receiver, you have a set of plays just for him.
Yeah.
You do. You have his own set in the checklist that's just for Jefferson in Minnesota or Jamar Chase. And I can go on and on. Every one of these 1As, Gronk, they've all got their own Kelsey. They've all got a set of plays that's them. It's all them, and it's usually about 10 or 12. Really, I'm not kidding when I say that. All right. So he has got to be that dude, and he has the potential.
Well,
to
we were
be
talking
that
about it last year because how often do we see teams not go to, like, remember Jamar Chase like barely got the ball a few games, and we're like, what the fuck are y'all doing? It happened too much where the main guy, you were just staying away from him.
Again, you got to force the ball to that guy.
Pickens, I think it happened with.
Yeah. Pickens would disappear.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. It was the quarterback we didn't even look at. Like whoever.
Well, they had a rough quarterback situation.
They did.
I would say
They did.
most improved quarterback room is probably the Steelers.
Oh yeah, by leaps and bounds.
I mean,
this isn't even close.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely, all day. Yeah. So.
Although the Bears might have improved too.
Well, this kid, we'll see.
We'll see how good Caleb
He's
Williams
walking
is.
into a slew of weapons. I can tell you that right now. That they don't lack for nothing.
That's the weird thing. It's like, how could he not be successful? But then at the same time, he is a rookie quarterback.
He's a second year, isn't he?
No, Caleb Williams was drafted.
Oh, that's right. He's a rookie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, that division.
Tough division.
Tough division.
Who's the worst team in that division is Minnesota, and they had a great offense. We'll see what happens with J.J. McCarthy.
They drafted him, and they still have Jefferson.
They still have Jefferson.
Right.
Yeah,
and the other dude,
Addison. They have Hutchinson. Right? Hutchinson is it?
Who's the
Hutchinson's the tight end?
The tight end they stole from Detroit. Detroit traded to him. I still don't understand why
Well,
Detroit
because
did
they
that.
got fucking Laporta.
Yeah, but he ain't as good as him. I don't think he's good.
I think his numbers were the same last year.
I don't know.
Laporta was the top tight end last year.
I think Hutchinson's a little bit better than him, but whatever. I mean, I'm sure that they're comparable. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they are comparable.
But you normally don't trade a player like that in the division.
That was weird.
You can trade him, but not. You'll never see.
And it was while Detroit was on the up too.
Yeah, you don't.
But sometimes those are the smart trades where you go, you know what, we have a bit of a surplus at this position.
I didn't say it was
Pick
a
up a
bad
draft pick.
trade in terms of moving him. It's where you put him.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a player like that. If I have to move him, I don't want him in my own damn division.
Yeah, but what did it do for Minnesota? It hasn't hurt Detroit yet.
I've been there 1 year.
Right? No, it was 2.
2?
What was it last year they traded him?
I don't know. I thought it was 1, but I could be wrong.
No, because he was on their team.
Well,
he was on their team when the Giants beat them in the playoffs. So it was 2 years ago that they traded him.
Yeah. So look, it's going to be very interesting to see when they take the gloves off with these two and let them go. And again, it's going to depend on
Who are we talking about?
Talking about Dane Dimes and your boy, Neighbors. This really come down to how often, how many reps did they get in preseason together? How many meals did they break bread together? They got to be talking. They've got to have.
Snap the bread.
Brady always talks about this, and I know Montana talked about it with Rice. When you got that dude, you guys have your own lingo. Like, hey, go to the Buick, turn around. Like, you know what I mean?
How often would you say people actually break bread with their hands these days?
I don't know. I don't think it's a lot.
2%?
Maybe.
Who is it?
That far off.
There's probably some Italians.
Some Roman
maybe,
Catholics. Roman Catholics.
What's another? I think
Irish Catholic.
there's some African cultures where you're ripping bread. Maybe some Middle Eastern, Mediterranean cultures.
I don't know. I just know that
Most people don't break bread anymore.
I just know. Look, that you fucking let me lose my train of thought,
Dude,
you and your fucking
we've been
breaking
going
bread.
40 minutes on the fucking Giants and Pats training camp.
Which we should be. We have not talked a lot
Yeah,
about.
but I mean, it's like it's preseason football is almost as bad as fucking Pro Bowl football.
That's a good call. I wonder. Actually, maybe preseason's worse.
You think so?
It's close,
but it's just because it's like everything you see is like a goddamn mirage.
I
half
never
the
thought
time.
about that, but that's a good comparison. I never thought about the NFL Pro Bowl and how he's not. This is a bad.
I don't know if it's that valid.
Yeah, it is. I think it is.
I mean, at least
Which
preseason
one-
you got the guys who are
Which
trying.
one is more irrelevant, though? They're both pretty fucking irrelevant.
Right, because no matter what happens in preseason, it really doesn't mean a goddamn
No,
thing.
it never really has.
And every time you get excited about somebody
Dude.
from the preseason,
The year the Pats went 2-14. I mean, they've had every record but 0-16 on the bad side. But the year they went 2-14, which was the second worst season, They went 4-0 in the preseason that year.
Right.
And they were 2-14.
Exactly.
It's like, so I've never believed
The only
in that.
time anything's ever translated from preseason was when Victor Cruz was an undrafted receiver. I think it was at UMass, if I remember, for the Giants.
Yeah.
And he scored 3 touchdowns against the Jets in the preseason. And then he became like an all-time Giants wide receiver and helped us win a Super Bowl. But that almost never happens. At least it feels like
that's rare. That's truly rare.
Typically, you see a guy and they go, "Oh, this receiving core could be really good." They come out of the gate.
Well, yeah, again,
Absolute
that's
doo-doo.
why I'm taking this with a grain of salt when the reporters about this Pats. Right. They do show some talent. I'm not denying that, but they're acting like.
But it's like
This
those
is Stanley
reporters,
Morgan and Irving Fry
Right,
all over
right.
again. No, it ain't.
But I think, well, as the same time as fans are positive, I think reporters come in giving people the benefit of the doubt.
You want to see smooth? Stanley Morgan was the definition of smooth. You watched him play, just everything he did, smooth. Just fucking smooth. It's almost like Griffey's swing. Fucking, he would run the go route, and he looks like he's fucking jogging. Just, and he's blowing by these guys, and then the hands, it's textbook, and he makes it look like it's easy. Like Stanley, you need to watch video of Stanley Morgan, who, by the way, how he's not in the Hall of Fame is a fucking travesty.
Especially when he's got a bank.
Wow, dude, he over 10,000 yards receiving, over 60 touchdowns.
And he's got a bank.
The highest,
Stanley Morgan.
the highest freaking average per catch in NFL history.
Yowzers.
Not Randy Moss, not Terrell, not Rice, not Stanley Morgan. 19.2 yards a catch.
Wow.
For his career. And that was in an era where they could decapitate you.
How many catches a year?
Like 60 to something, 60 to 70 a year. But he was average. 19.2 for his career.
How many years did he play?
13? 14? He was consistent as fuck. So graceful. Looked like a fucking gazelle out there running in a field. Fucking ridiculous.
Gazelle. I'm trying to think of other gazelles.
Fucking, and there are others. He's not the only one, but he's just
Jerry
so.
Rice is a bit of a gazelle.
He was too. This guy, everything he does is fundamentally. It just looks so easy. He just makes it look like he invented the position when he ran. Just crazy. That's what's when you watch Stanley Morgan, you go like, how you will watch tape of him and you'll be like, how is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Carlos Beltran, that center fielder, we used to call him a gazelle.
Yep.
Just feels like he's jogging all of a sudden.
And, yeah, but he's quick.
Wow.
He's quick, but he's not fast.
Well, no, he's fast. He just doesn't look. It's effortless.
He's always
the
on time.
gazelle is effortless.
He's never late.
No, no,
Doesn't matter how much. Doesn't matter how much time he's taking to get there. He always gets there.
I think I'm tapped out. I think I'm tapped out again.
Well, we had a different road to Yoda's house tonight.
We did.
We took a different road.
Plus,
tonight.
it's like I hate that time of year where there's only one sport going on.
We have the Olympics. We talked about the Olympics at length, I might add.
You know what? I'll be more excited when the WNBA comes back. I think we got like 12 days or something like that.
You and I both want to see the men play Canada in basketball.
That's true.
I do want to see that game. I hope
again,
it's
irrelevant.
But I want to see it.
I was just thinking about that. Like,
I want to see it.
How
I just
it was. They were interviewing
because they should take them very seriously.
They were interviewing Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
You know, and they were saying, I'm sure you've heard a lot about it, but what is it like, playing for a gold medal? And it's kind of like, you guys are so much better than everybody. The gold medal in basketball is not as good as an NBA championship.
No way.
I mean, it's not even close. Like, you're literally beating up on guys who have no business playing against you half the time.
Spare me the 68 NBA bullshit. By the way, you want to know the real reason why there's 68 foreign NBA players now? Because the league changed the rules so they could play. The Euro step. They took away. They took away. They took away the forearm to the.
Why did they take the forearm away?
Because they wanted to open it up for more.
I understand taking the hand check because that's
the forearm's where you're holding your ground.
But the forearm is
like.
Come on, if I'm playing you in the post, what am I supposed to do without my forearm?
They've literally made it so the Europeans could play.
I mean, guys still use their forearm.
So when people say to me, well, they got 68 pros now, that's because the NBA altered the rules so those guys could play in the league.
Oh, no, also...
There are 4 legit
But
guys.
basketball has grown, dude.
I didn't say it hasn't. I didn't say
in
it hasn't.
part because of the Dream Team.
Actually, directly because of the Dream Team.
Well,
the biggest...
There was a part.
Here's
there was
the
a
thing.
part of it.
The only time in sports I've ever seen this, any sport in my life, after every beatdown, the opponent whose foot they just asked they put their foot, they came over and wanted pictures and autographs. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the 60-point drop. And can I get a picture with you, Charles? Like, are you fucking?
That's Magic Johnson.
When the fuck? That's Larry. Fucking Jordan. By the way, I want to know who the guys were that got with those 3 in the picture with him. That dude has gold. Mm. Who got the picture of the 3 of them in the photo with him? Mm. That is gold. Whoever did that. But anyway, so the thing is that team. Was
like,
it was like Elvis. It was like 12 Elvises.
But like that gold medal, in terms of legacy, means nothing, in my opinion.
I'll tell you why.
Because they sleptwalked. Like, of course they won it.
You know, that's not
like
the
it's
point.
great for
they were
going to
win it. They have 3 of the 5 greatest players ever.
But that's
on
what
the
I'm
roster.
saying. So like, if you're comparing people's legacy and you go, oh, well, Jordan's got a gold medal. Or, well, he's got multiples.
He's got multiple.
Because him and Ewing won one.
Michael Jordan is 30-0 in Olympic competition.
Didn't him and Ewing win one?
Yeah, 84. Him, Ewing, and Mullen.
Oh, Mullen, nice.
They were all on that team. That 84 team was the best amateur team we ever had.
Was Chris Mullen a St. John's guy?
Yep. They went to the Final Four twice. They lost to Georgetown. They couldn't beat Ewing.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
God, those were matchups
winning a gold in basketball. Look, I'm not trying to diminish an Olympic accomplishment.
Gold medal's a gold medal, motherfucker.
I know. But I'm saying, like, it just seems like they should win.
They should. Nothing wrong with that.
But it's like, it doesn't. So when somebody goes, oh, he got this many gold medals, I'm like, all right, he was on a super team just drubbing, smaller, not as
slower,
physical, fast.
Don't know the game because the game they didn't invent it. You did.
It's just like
they
so
don't know
lopsided.
the game. Europeans still don't play American style defense. And by the way, they still struggle the most with it whenever they see it. That's why they took away a lot of these rules to free them up for them. This is why you're seeing this, not because of course the game was going to evolve when the Dream Team showed up in Spain and wiped the floor with everybody. It was historic. It was historic. People still talk about the 92 Dream Team.
It was historical. Would you say it was historical?
It was historical.
I mean,
it was. Where were you in Barcelona? I mean, anybody that was alive that got to see that team play.
I don't remember where I was. I got to be honest.
Bird and just the thought that, oh my God, Bird and Magic are going to play together.
It was pretty cool.
It was amazing, and and then you throw Jordan into it, and I mean, geez, and Barkley, and they had some characters too. They didn't lack for personalities. Ewing and Bird ended up being best friends. They couldn't stand each other. Because he was a nickname.
Really, the 233s?
They ended up being best friends because of that. They still talk about it to this day.
Would you look at that?
But who would have thought?
My back's starting to fucking hurt.
The point is, this team better roll.
My boobs are weighing me down.
This team better roll. But anyway, we'll see you guys Monday or Tuesday. It's just ice.
You chilling?
Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy the games. Women's basketball, 11:15. Don't miss it. And then we'll see you guys Monday night for the Redoubtable one. Tom Izzo, Holly Question One, RJ Miliaccio, boys and girls. You know the drill. There's one of them. Streak alive. Streak alive.
It's been alive. The streak was extended right when we came on.